Hey guys, I'll see you guys tonight at 9 p.m. for Fallout Equestria Dead Tree, and I'll see you Sunday at 3 p.m. all Eastern Standard Time for Warhammer 40k RPG. In addition to this, I have a book coming out. It's linked in the description below. Go check it out. See you there, and in the meantime, on with the review. Hello everyone, welcome to this Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 beta footage. So tonight I have a full Imperial fleet, just to kind of give you guys a look. I like a lot of this. The new interface, it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot smoother. It lets me see what the status of my ships is at a glance, instead of having to go look around the map for them. And at the same time, the bottom interface does have... It's just so much cleaner. It takes up so much less of the actual map. Now, I do wish they would let us change the color, because I understand that while I have full color vision and everything, some of my subscribers have complained that when they are watching me, stream this, they had problems with the color of the interface at the bottom. So I do wish they would let us change that or put something in to change it. Now, the other problem I have with the current multiplayer / skirmish mode is the domination points. I want to be able to turn those off, because it really feels like it makes it a little tactically stilted, because you have to claim a couple points or you're going to lose. It does force you to fight, but I really think that it should be more capture points in each other's home zones, so you're forced to decide whether or not to attack or defend. Or put the capture points more in the center, where there's not just these randomly generated seeming capture points that are all over the map. If you look in the upper, directly above my camera, in the upper right corner, where you see the capture points that are kind of scattered. There's 3 in the middle and then 1 on each side, and it's easy just to claim the one close to you. They also feel like in a lot of matches they just don't matter, because by the time that you can really rack up even half of the points required to win, it's over. Now, the other observation I'm going to make is that we're going to see this very shortly. Turrets are useless against fighters. Fighters just rip your turrets right off. We're going to see this momentarily, and you're going to see my point of gripe. The other point of gripe I have here is the lack of ability to hit a button and see where my ships are going. There's no button for that. And in the first game, there was a button that I could press to see where my ships are going. The other thing we're going to see here is the just sheer amount of... I have a torpedo fleet. I have an old-fashioned torpedo fleet, so that's my opening torpedo volley. I think the issue here is that they've changed how turrets work in terms of defense for torpedoes. Rather than defending over time, they defend against every single torpedo individually. So there's no cooldown on them. So when you fire a torpedo volley, I've seen ships shoot down every single torpedo before they're even out of the tubes, because you tried to fire them point blank. Now watch these fighters. See, I talked about this earlier. They're just cruising right through. 4 ships are currently firing on them with turret fire, trying to shoot them down, and not one of them dies. But by God, they get in here and they tear 4 or 5 turrets off of my battleship before they start getting flaked down. There goes 4 turrets. There goes the 5th turret. So I just lost a third of my turrets. I do like that escort ships are now important in the fact they have the sensors to detect stuff. And without them, stuff becomes invisible. That's a really good feature now. There's going to be some additional videos where I go over some of the mechanics of the game that are bad. But that feature, look at that. I just press one button. This one escort ship has now scouted these vessels. And unless they choose to run silent, I know where they are and I know what they're doing. Now I'm going to try desperately here to get a torpedo volley off. And again, it's just going to get shot down. You can see from the macro cannon fire that the macro cannon fire is a lot more effective now. Battles are so much faster. Ships just get shredded. We both just lost an escort like that. Now I am facing off against Chaos, who are the primary enemy of basically everyone. I now have to stop and remember to, because Between battles, it doesn't save preferences, even though it saves fleets. I now have to stop and go check what each of these ships' ranges are real quick. I should have set these before battle. I forgot to do that. But it feels like if you don't take that extra step during your deployment, you're going to pay for it later. So now I'm going through here, looking at each ship and going, what are you? What do you do? What are you? Why are you? What's the range I should be setting your engagement to? Yada, yada, yada.
Your orders?
And you're about to see a very perfect, picturesque example
Your orders?
of what I'm talking about with torpedoes.
Engaging!
The enemy has
Neither of those torpedoes got out of the tube from that escort. They were destroyed before they left the tube. Both of them.
Ship ready.
I'm trying to micro here properly to get that torpedo spread in. 2 torpedoes hit. 4 were shot down.
Sighted.
Or 3 were shot down and 2 hit. And look at how little damage they actually did.
We serve.
2 torpedoes ripped 100 hit points off that ship.
Heading acknowledged.
It seems like torpedoes have been super nerfed.
Brace for impact.
Which doesn't bode well when that's kind of the primary armament if you don't bring a Nova Cannon for the Imperial Navy, for the Space Marine fleets, other than fighters. Point blank, 6 spread torpedo, 2 get through the turrets of a ship of the same size.
Brace for impact.
I'm sorry, that took a lot of skill and effort to set up, and it just got neutered. And you're going to see a lot of this as we play through here. You're going to see a lot of torpedo volleys, and 0 torpedoes got through the turrets. The turrets of the ship. He didn't have to dodge those at all. He didn't have to do a high energy turn or get out of the way or anything. So all that setup and all that effort on my part to get these torpedo shots lined up, as you're seeing right now, isn't working. I think they went too far one way. They went too far in favor of the defender when it comes to torpedoes and boarding actions, because a lot of the boarding pods now, like tons of them, get shredded. This is the first beta. They do have time to fix this, thankfully. But I don't know if they are going to, this is what they want or not. Again, point blank torpedo volley. 1 actually gets through the turrets. 1. So I desperately try to ram and don't get it. That is kind of nice that you do. The models are exactly as you see them on the map. You have to get those precision hits now. There's no polygons hanging off. There's no hitboxes that are slightly weirdly shaped. The hitbox is exactly the shape of the ship. That is a very nice upgrade. Thank you. Also, with the new boarding actions, I like the fact that you can just remove all the crew from a ship. I don't like the fact the ship can be scuttled for massive damage. And when we look at the boarding action / Tyranid video, you're going to see what I'm talking about why the Tyranids and Space Marines are now super, super neutered. From the fact that if you get too close and the ship scuttles, you're screwed. I agree that ship explosions should do some damage, but the footage I have in particular has 3 Tyranid cruisers, or 3 light cruisers and a heavy cruiser, all at near max health, dying instantaneously to scuttling from 1 vessel. Now here we are getting some torpedo hits through, but that's because we've reduced this ship's turrets. We cut their turrets in half so far to get those hits through. And we only did that by the luck of our guns. I didn't even like precision target. There's so much micromanagement that has to happen now. I mean, I love the larger fleets. I would appreciate being able to set different fleet point values though. Right now, it's either 1200 or 600. I really hope that there's some different values that we can set, because there's just so much going on in a 1200 point battle that you're missing so many micro commands just to get it done. As you can see, the Chaos is trying to play their little stay at the edge of my radar game, which is working for the battleship versus that escort, but that escort has got a long uphill fight to get through. And I've got an escort sitting right here that they can't see, but he's been sitting there the whole time, just to keep them spotted. So I have the whole fleet turn and engage that cruiser. I'm going to bring around to see if we can get some torpedoes in on it. In the meantime, I forgot this ship was even here. So I think there needs to be something added to this ship interface. Like something that says, I'm under attack and I don't have orders. Because there's so much going on. I know I'm going to lose this light cruiser right now, so I'm trying to get a desperate melt-a-volley on it. And I got it, thankfully. But then again, the problem with melted torpedoes is there's a chance of fire. I got 4 melted torpedoes in, I only got 2 fires. One of the things I don't like that they've removed, by the way, is the individual ship upgrades are gone. I don't like that. I honestly really don't like that individual ship upgrades are gone. Or they don't seem to be present in the current build. I also don't like that they have removed the ability for ships to stop and do emergency repairs. All you can do with your repair button is remove fires and critical damage. There's no managing your hit points via repairs now. Now I've launched this torpedo spread in kind of a way that it should overwhelm their turrets. And it does. It also means if they speed up or slow down. But again, with melted torpedoes, there's a chance it'll set it on fire. Which is the part that I'm really annoyed about. I got 4 hits and got nothing out of it. Now here, if he wants to turn broadside to keep shooting at my battleship, he's going to have to fly into the torpedoes. And he just shoots it down. He just shoots it down. So, as you can see, the turrets are a little too potent. Because even against the battleships, so I go over here and you'll see the repair only removes critical effects. It doesn't repair any health. Which has removed that feature, which made part of your repair more strategic, I thought, because you had to choose between repairing critical damage right now with a 90-second cooldown or living with the critical damage so you could repair hull damage that was about to hit you or that could be hitting you within that 90 seconds. Now it's just get rid of the crit damage right now. It makes it less strategic in my opinion. It is less to micromanage, but it does make it less strategic in my opinion that it only removes critical damage now. Now we got a good ram here. This ship is clearly not going to stand up to my not Emperor, it's the other one. It's the all gunboat battleship. I really like the Retribution class. That's it, Retribution class all gunboat battleship. I'm reading the script right here and I just looked away for a second. The other problem here is that I've got 5 fires burning on this ship, but I can't burn anymore, so my melted torpedoes are useless. We are going to get some extra torpedo hits here against a dead ship, but as you saw, it's dead, and it shot down 3 of the 4 torpedoes I just launched at it. It didn't have to dodge. That's what I'm talking about, is they've added micromanagement in some places, and then in a lot of previous places that were really strategic, they've removed it. So stuff like you need to really dodge torpedoes is gone. Because your turrets can just shoot it down. If you don't have a fleet with fighters, which in my fleet's case, we're all guns, all torpedoes. Because that was the concept I built the fleet on, was how many torpedoes can I fit into a fleet. But because we don't have fighters and a lot of heavy boarding action to go in and tear turrets apart, we're punished. So I really don't like how effective the turrets are being. Like, look at this. This is a full volley. This should just wreck his day. And it does. Thankfully. That is the first full volley this entire battle that has gone after a ship, is going to hit that ship, and actually gets through. Which feels like dumb luck. It honestly does feel like dumb luck to me. Now, if they wanna fix that, that'd be great. I'm trying to get a boarding action off on this thing to really just like fluster him up as much as I can. So here it goes, boarding action going in. And he gets a bunch of troop losses and some hull damage, but nothing really. But the important part was the engine loss, because now he can't get away and we can finish him off. There he goes. Engine destroyed. Ship is crippled. And finally, the thumbnail shot, the death volley. So that's my opinion of this so far. I've been enjoying it. I can say that. Some of the changes are amazing. Some of the changes are questionable. And most of the additional new ships are kind of fun to play. I don't like this, by the way. This battle report, please show me the individual ships. Show me the damage they did. Show me the damage they absorbed. Show me what they accomplished. Now we're looking at the new fleet roster for the Imperial Navy. It's massive. They've added an entire new category called Grand Cruisers, which are canon. They've also added so many new ships with different combinations of weapons. You have an all-lance battery ship, the Apocalypse-class battleship that's just all lances. That's an Nova cannon. That's a long-range sniping battleship. You have the Oberon, which is, I have every weapon in the game. I have everything that you could possibly want. Sorry about hitting the mic. The Grand Cruisers fill this kind of niche specialization role that sits between battlecruiser and battleship, and are definitely better than just battlecruisers who are upgunned cruisers. The battlecruisers are still, the cruisers and battlecruisers from the previous game are still just uplifted straight out of the previous game into here stat-wise, which annoys me. They should have had their stats adjusted a little bit, I think. The addition of the Endeavor, Endurance, and Defiant class really make the light cruisers shine out. And the addition of the Falchion and Cobra Widowmaker really, really do give us some variety of escorts. And they, of course, they kept all the ships from the previous game, improved the graphics, tweaked the engine, and made it much more clear what everything's doing. I don't like the fact that, let me scroll over weapon again, but I don't think that the weapons show their full capable damage, particularly on the Tyranids. Oh, no, they do. They do show the damage. I didn't notice it at first, but they do have like a little thing that shows damage per shot. I wish that there was like some information on how armor actually works still as a tooltip. That's not there right now because scrolling over any of these stats over here, it doesn't actually tell me what it does. So a little bit of tooltips for the stats would be nice. I do really like the expanded roster for the Imperial Navy. That's not the expanded roster for every fleet, though. I have some issues with a bunch of the fleet's rosters, and we're going to go over that in another video later this week, but so far, so good. The Imperial Navy is really going to be something that stands out with a variety of capabilities. I am very, however, disappointed in one aspect: limited use of fighters, bombers, torpedoes, and other special abilities. I'm very disappointed with this aspect of the game. I think they should have more than 3. 3 is simply too few. As you saw with that particular match, which was not particularly difficult with me, but several of my ships toward the end of the match were just out of torpedoes. Now I'm imagining what it's going to be like for someone who's trying to run a carrier fleet. If you're towards the end of the match and it's really close, and then you look down and your Emperor-class battleship, the mightiest battleship supposedly ever constructed by the Imperium, which does rely on fighter craft, just being out of fighters against a battleship that's not. That doesn't seem entirely too fair. So I really feel like 4 or 5, like, play with it a little bit here, TDLS Interactive. Play with it a little bit. Try 4, try 5. See if that works. And if it doesn't, that's entirely fair. So that has been my initial first look at Battlefleet Gothic 2 and the Imperial Navy. Stay tuned. I will be going over the absolute worst of the worst. The things in this that have to be changed immediately, ASAP. In the preceding videos, I have had a good time with this first beta. I'm not even going to deny it. I've had a wonderful time. This has been a fun experience. I kind of wanted to play a little bit more of the campaign to see some of the campaign mechanics in action so that we could make suggestions for changes, but we didn't get to see the actual campaign battle control screen like we had last time. And I really, really have to put something out there just overall. Telios, please don't tell me this campaign is I have to beat one campaign to get the next campaign, because that's the way the campaign cards looked, and that's disconcerting. I really hope you have not built them into one continuous story that's locked behind each other, and I really hope you have not built them as cookie cutters. I really want to see unique campaigns, because you've offered an Imperial, a Necron, and a Tyranid campaign, and they better all be unique. I'm warning you, from a player perspective, we are going to be massively disappointed if they are not unique campaigns and if they are linked together where it's one continuous story instead of 3 separate stories with 3 radically different outcomes. I'm just warning you now that the player base is going to be upset if either of those 2 cases are the case. So that's everything I have to say about this right now. I will see you guys next time, and I might see you guys tonight from Moon's house for live stream, but I will definitely see you guys on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. for the conclusion of the Battle in the Sky Fallout Equestria. Who's going to live, who's going to die, because 3 characters are under gun sight right at the start of the battle. We might have 3 character deaths out at the start. In the meantime, here's the previous video, and here is previous. So I got 2 Warhammer videos up. Yay! Bye, guys.